Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
And I'm your other host, TJ Cornwell. And thank you for coming back to the show. If you joined us in our stream from last week, we
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button. And today we're going to be talking about House of Dragons, of course. We're going to be talking about the new movie Bros that just came out as well, and how that did the box office. Probably some other news things. We're going to try to keep it short today.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that works out, but we'll see. But just to start off real quick, Sean, have you been watching anything that you want to talk about?
I did end up going and seeing Bros.
Oh, okay.
So we can talk about that in a little bit. Or I guess actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and give my just quick review of
Mhm.
Bros. So for me, I have like Parks and Rec. I'm a huge fan of that. I actually didn't really care much for Billy Eichner on Parks and Rec. That's kind of where I first saw him, where I think a lot of people first saw him.
I didn't know that he was on that. I've never seen Parks and Rec, but I
Oh,
didn't know
really?
that's like where he got his start or whatever.
Well, I don't know if that's where he got his start because I don't. Because Billy on the Street started on the internet, so it's
Right.
possible that was first. I just know that where I definitively, the first thing I saw him in was definitely Parks and Rec. He
Mm.
came in kind of a supporting role in later seasons. And he grew on me there and everything. But for me, Billy on the Street, I have to be in the right mood, but most times I just really like love the chaos of it. So I'm definitely a Billy Eichner fan, just to set that part up. Um, but for me, I think honestly, and I think it's amazing that this is the first time a major studio has taken, although a minimal risk, but a risk on,
Mhm.
a LGBTQ led rom com or really just movie in general, but mainly, a romantic, love story between men's, two men on screen. So I think that that's fantastic. I just think on an actual film basis, um, it's really just kind of generic rom com stuff. I
Mhm.
really didn't think it was too special. And I think a little bit, we'll talk a little bit more about the box office of the movie a little bit later on. But for me, it's just you really have Billy Eichner, and that's really the only driving star power in the movie. There are a couple
Mhm.
things here or there that pop up because it is Judd Apatow produced and everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But really, the co-lead of the movie, who I forget his name just now, he's kind of been in like Hallmark movies and like Christmas Hallmark movies, that type of thing. So it's really not much star power, and I really feel that in the movie. I look at something like Marry Me, which came out earlier this year, or
Mhm.
maybe the tail end of last year, I think. But that was just a schlocky rom com, whatever. But I genuinely thought that having like J Lo and Owen Wilson really did bring it a lot further along into me, liking it or even caring about the movie than I think it would have with not those two. So
Mhm.
I do think that you can have a lighter tone, a maybe simpler story rom com with two great actors to kind of elevate it. And I think that Billy Eichner really did that. I just think that when you really just have a movie, specifically a rom com, just kind of built around one main actor, I feel like it kind of suffers for that. I did find parts of the movie very funny. It's definitely a movie. I saw a lot of people online, and again, I think it goes to kind of the reception of the movie, saying, well, can I see this movie if I'm straight, or not? Can I see it, but will I understand it? And
Yeah.
I could definitely say absolutely. Like there's a lot of gay jokes and stuff and things like that, and there's a lot in the trailer. There's like this round table scene which was pretty funny. Um, but it's definitely a movie made for everyone.
Mhm.
So if you like rom-coms, if you like that kind of thing, I would say go out and see it, like make the judgment for yourself. I'll just say out of the rom-coms that have come out in the past few years, I just think this one's probably at the lower end of the spectrum for me. That's kind of
Gotcha.
just my quick thoughts on Bros. Um, but yeah. Uh, Other things I've been watching. Well, I've been watching Game of Thrones. I've been storming through that rewatch. I am
Right.
on season 8, episode 5 right now, so I only have an episode and a half left in the show. So I
Mm-hmm.
have just been absolutely blitzing through that show. Because I think it was just only like 2 or 3 weeks ago that you came over to my house, and I think I was only on like
Yeah.
season 2. Um, but it has been a tremendous rewatch. I'll say that because I think it's definitely the first time I've rewatched it in full since it ended.
Uh huh.
I didn't rewatch all of it over the pandemic or anything, so it's definitely been pretty fulfilling to rewatch that. Um, I've been flirting with the idea I might throw up my thoughts on the series just in a quick kind of video on the channel. I haven't fully decided yet though. But I will say, just to defend season 8 a little bit, and definitely season 7, I think it's a lot better than people remember it or their memories give it the credit. And I include
Right.
myself in that. Like I know I texted you about things like Bran becoming king and Tyrion picking Bran, like that stuff. There are some seeds of that put in, and I'm not saying that that saves every decision that was made. I just had one where a character dies that I forgot even died, and the way that it happened was just so sudden and quick, and it didn't even feel satisfying or really have any weight to it. It felt very very weird.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's stuff like that all over season 8 too. That's just kind of the truncated, shrunk down, just timeline. It just feels like the last 2 seasons of this show cover as much information as the first 5 seasons of the show in 14 episodes. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
13 episodes. Which, it's just a little bit crazy. But yeah. So I am enjoying the rewatch though overall. Trying to think other things I've been watching. Um House of the Dragon, of course. I have not dove back into Rings of Power just yet. I know a lot of people said that episode 6 was really fantastic and really kind of revitalized it for them. So once I hear the word on episode 7, if that's good, then I think I will be jumping back into that, especially once I finish Game of Thrones. I
Mm-hmm.
can move over and take a look at that. Um, Andor, of course, still chugging along. She-Hulk still going along. You can check our reviews on episode 7 of She-Hulk, episode 4 of Andor. We got the new Andor episode dropping tonight. Very excited for that. I work super early in the morning, so I'm probably not going to be able to watch that until well, I either wake up super early or watch it tomorrow after work. Yet to be determined, but I'm super excited for that as well. Uh, Other than that, I think that's really pretty much been it. Just really been doing a lot of time watching Game of Thrones, honestly. What about you?
Yeah. So, I haven't really watched much. I've only watched one movie.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch after the Thursday night football game last week. I watched this documentary that PBS did. I think 2013 is when it came out. Yeah, 2013, called League of Denial, which is talking about concussions in the NFL and CT and all that
Tell the
stuff.
truth.
Because I don't know if you heard about the thing with
Oh,
Tua and
I saw that trending.
yes, yeah. So he Sunday before that he had a game against the Bills. He kind of got pushed, hit his head on the ground, clearly
Mm-hmm.
got up wobbling, could not walk
Oh
straight.
wow.
Um, went in the locker room halftime, came back, played the whole second half, and they kept saying that it was a back injury. His back seized up, and everybody's like, "Well, when my back seizes up, I don't like tumble. I don't like wobble. My legs don't give out, and you
Yeah.
also don't like shake your head like you're trying to get the cobwebs out. You know what I mean?"
Mm-hmm.
So then Thursday, long story short, gets tackled again, hits his head again, and he, as you saw, goes in the fencing posture where his hands get all, you know, uh, crazy, and he's taken out in an ambulance.
Oh wow.
So then I watched that documentary and I was like, oh shit, because I always knew, like, concussions, football, pretty synonymous with each other. But that was a very good documentary. Very not gonna say very, I guess, eye opening. I mean, I feel like a lot of people now know the dangers of it, but to show kind of how the NFL was kind of trying to deny that there was a correlation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're watching it right here. I mean, we're
Yeah.
not showing this, but
I haven't. Yeah, I won't show it, but I
yeah,
haven't actually seen the clip. So is that
yeah,
him right there?
yeah, that's him right there. But it was really scary.
Ooh.
It was very scary because a lot of people knew
People were
Sunday
upset.
night.
People were
Sunday,
upset.
people were like, "There's no way it's just his back." Like, just
Yeah.
like looking at, like, there's no way. And then that happens,
Yeah.
and you're thinking the worst. I mean, I was like, is he gonna get up? Like, it was
Ooh.
really scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, very good documentary. I recommend you watch it if you are at all interested. It's on YouTube. I think PBS
okay.
like just posts all their documentaries to YouTube.
Yeah.
But that was very good. And then I watched Blonde.
Really?
In 2 sittings, I watched Blonde.
You want to give us your thoughts?
Yeah, I can try. So I really don't know much. I didn't know much really going in about Marilyn Monroe really at all. I did know that this was fictional. It's based off a like autobiography type book that was also fictional that came out, I think, early 2010s, I want to say, of the same name. And overall, I think this movie is not good. It's bad.
Just flat out.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with almost every other person that has seen this movie. First, like, it looks good. It looks good. If I were to compliment it on 2 things, I'll say it looks good, and Ana de Armas, I think, is good in it. But other than that, it's pretty bad. If you were to watch this movie and, like I said, not know anything and not know it's fictional, you would think Marilyn Monroe's life just, like, it was just terrible 24/7. I mean, all we show is her either getting sexually assaulted, beaten, anything that's just bad that happened to her life. That's all this movie shows. There's no joy. Nothing good comes out of her life, apparently, according to this movie. And I think that really, really sucks, because everything that I've seen that people like go against this movie, that everybody says she was an amazing person. She was really smart and just a great actor too. And this doesn't really show that at all.
Wow.
Multiple times this movie changes aspect ratios. You've probably seen that on Twitter. No really rhyme or reason for it. It just kind of happens. It also goes from black and white to color multiple times as well. No real rhyme or reason to that either. I thought maybe it had to do with like, we're going from the black and white times to the colored time, like colored pictures. You know what I mean? Like, for movies, and that doesn't seem to be like what that is. If I were to say anything good about it, it was that Ana de Armas I thought was good. Too long, also very long. Doesn't
Almost
need to be
3 hours, right?
We could have cut it down. Yeah, it doesn't need to be that long. And yeah, I just felt it was very exploitive. Like it didn't need to be made. And if you were gonna make it, make it actually about her life. I don't know why you would want to take this fictional version of her life and make it into a movie. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't want to, take some true and mix it in there and make something like a really good, like, biopic. I don't know, or biopic. Sorry. But yeah, not a good movie. Not a good movie.
Well, there you go.
Netflix wasted some more money. I don't know how much they spent, but wasted more money.
Yeah, actually, I have this up here because we're going to be talking box office.
Oh, a lot of CG fetuses as well. That's another thing.
CG fetuses.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. $22 million. There you go. Absolutely no return on that.
didn't make a dime.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that's it. I haven't watched anything in shows. Just the same old, Wrexham, House of Dragon. Yeah, same things.
Have you watched The Patient at all?
No, I haven't. I didn't know what it was about, and then I read a description of it. It's kind of I'm not that interested. Yeah, I don't know. Are you at all? Have you?
I watched the first 2 episodes, like a couple weeks ago when they first came out. I really found it very dull. But a lot of people like reviewers and stuff that I value their opinion pretty highly. Like they're all saying that it's like fantastic, like all this stuff. I didn't find that, but I mean, maybe I have to jump back into it just because I know it's 1 episode every week. It's a straight drama, and it's like 22 minutes. It's like 22 minutes an episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got Donald Gleason and Steve Carell. I just found it super dull, and you get those 2 actors, both fantastic actors, and specifically actors that I love. It just really didn't come together for me, which is very weird.
I assumed they were like 45-minute episodes or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I would think too. But yeah, it's literally, I think the longest one out of the first 2 was 22 minutes, and the other one was like 19 minutes or something. It was crazy, but yeah, just wanted to see if you were watching that. Let us know in the comments if you guys have checked out The Patient over on FX Hulu. Maybe I'll check it out again, maybe not. We'll see. Let's talk some box office here. And like we said, it is probably going to be... TJ, do you have any news pulled up?
I don't know.
Okay, do you want to just... While I'm going over this, do you want to just take a look at discussing film like the past week?
Yeah.
Quick shout out, by the way. Jeff Snyder of In Snyder and Schmodown and Variety and Deadline fame just launched his independent website today, abovetheline.com, for this is just a cheap, shameless plug for absolutely no reason. But a bunch of news stuff and everything, and he's really good at scooping stuff. I just saw that he launched his website earlier today, finally. I think he's been like gearing up for that for like over 2 years. So shout out there. Go ahead and check out Above the Line. Also, did you check out the last Schmodown and all?
I did not. No.
Yeah, I gotta get back into it. It's like a 7-hour video, because they did like so many matches. I watched the first match, but because it's the last one, I'm not skipping through anything. So it's like taking forever to get through it, but yeah, it's pretty sad, pretty emotional and everything that it's ending, but they put on a great show, at least so far, for it. So let's go ahead and take a look. Why is this? Hello? There we go. All right. So we wanted to take a look at the box office, which is something we used to do all the time. Let us know if you guys want to see us cover the box office more often on here. We used to do it every single week. But just because there was such a big story and kind of such a big conversation about the box office this weekend, which is the brand new Billy Eichner film, Bros, which is the first kind of big studio gay rom-com, debuted footage and scenes and everything at CinemaCon earlier this summer. Finally was released by Universal, and it was released to the tune of $4.8 million, and that is on a budget, I believe. Let me just see. I just want to double check. I think they said that it would, like 20 million, 20 million for it. So really a bad debut for that. Definitely they were hoping for something at least closer to that. And then you look at something like Paramount, who has just been, came back from the ashes basically 2 years ago and has just been crushing it left and right, has another #1 debut with Smile, which I know we both haven't gotten a chance to see this, but a lot of my friends have seen it and actually say that it's pretty fantastic, which I'm excited to see it. I will say I haven't seen a movie in the theaters in a little bit besides Bros. That was kind of the first one in a while since Avatar. So I'm excited to, once I finish Game of Thrones, go out, because I still want to catch Smile, Don't Worry Darling, Woman King if possible,
Right,
Barbarian if possible, and Pearl if possible. I don't know.
I will
how
be
many.
watching Smile and Barbarian at home when it comes
On
out.
what? What are they coming out on?
I don't know, but
Oh, you were just
I'll
saying in
watch
general.
it at home. No,
See,
in
yeah.
general. Yep.
Yeah, I got you on that. So let's just go over the top 5 real quick. So number 5, we do have Bros at 4.8 million. This is obviously from thenumbers.com. Number 4, we have Avatar, the re-release, making another $5 million. So, like, that kind of gives you another perspective on it too. You see that Avatar, and granted it's Avatar, but it's a movie that is over 13 years old in its 3rd week of a re-release, making more than this brand new movie. It's not a good sign, no matter what the parameters are for that. Number 3, we have The Woman King, bringing in an additional 6.8 million. Don't Worry Darling, basically beating it out by like $20,000. So these honestly could flip-flop, but these numbers are pretty final right now. At another 6.8 million for Don't Worry Darling, in the number 2 spot. And then, like we said, Smile debuting at 22.6 million. So definitely a good year, fantastic year even for Paramount. You see there the Top Gun Maverick still holding on in the top 10, has a 19th consecutive week in the top 10, bringing in another almost 1.2 million, which is crazy that it's 19 weeks of release, and it just is still going. But yeah, what is your kind of thoughts? And then if you want to, we can kind of go into the kind of stuff that happened with Billy Eichner on Twitter after this, kind of, you know, his whole stance was kind of, well, just plain and simple, you know, straight people didn't turn out for it. But you know, I know that kind of got a lot of backlash and controversy in and of itself. So there's a lot surrounding this movie. But what do you think are some of the reasons that it did kind of debut at this number?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, just looking at that like top 5 list, definitely movies on there I have seen. The only 2 I've seen are Don't Worry Darling and Avatar. I want to see The Woman King. I am interested in Bros as well. That looks good. And Smile, but I'm not gonna go out and see that. But yeah, for me, just to touch on that, like, I think a contributor to, like you said, is that it really is like the main star is Billy Eichner. I think maybe you would need some more leading kind of big names to get a big debut. Just thinking of like recent rom-coms, like you said, like Owen Wilson and J-Lo, or I'm thinking of this was like 2-3 years ago, or 2019 I think it was, that one with Rebel Wilson and Luke Hemsworth, I believe it was.
Oh yeah,
or Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't think of the name though.
Love Me something.
For sure.
Or, yeah, stuff like that. Like, I think to, you know, especially the rom-coms, I wouldn't consider rom-com like a big genre right now, currently.
Yeah, not now, especially.
So I think, you know, to really get that...
Isn't It Romantic? That's what it was.
Isn't It Romantic? Yeah. To get that, like, really big, you know, draw. If you want to go to that real quick, can you see the opening for that?
Yes, I can.
If it says it somewhere.
It opened on Valentine's Day at 14.2 million. So 10 million north of more. This. Yeah.
Granted, it was Valentine's Day. So
I think a good comparison is Marry Me, which came out during pandemic.
Yeah. That was definitely this year. I was like,
yeah, it was 2022. Yeah. It was Valentine's Day. Actually, perfect comparison. There you go. All right. Yeah, so this opened to almost 8 million. So almost double.
Yeah.
And that was a day-and-date
you do have
streaming movie.
Right, and you do have Owen Wilson and J Lo.
Yeah.
So I think a part of it is like that star power. And I don't think big name actors draw people to the theaters like they used to.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, like, for me personally, like, if there's somebody in a movie, like, I'll go watch it, like, like Leo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt or something like that. But most of the time I'm not going to the movies just because that one actor is in it. But what I will say is the box office might not speak to how good it is. Apparently, because every review I've seen is that it's good. It's not like a bad movie. And maybe this is something that would have, do I dare say, would have benefited from a day and date release type thing.
I think more people would have checked it out. I think you're not wrong at all. And I do think that day and date releases, like, look at what I just said with Marry Me. What did I just say? And give it the benefit of the doubt, or give it the benefit of the doubt that it was a day and date release. It's like your numbers can be lower. Like a lower box office return can end up looking better for a day and date release, because okay, it made 4.8 million in the theaters, but Peacock is saying that 1.2 million accounts watched it this weekend. Well, that's great. There you go. Like, you know what I mean? That it not only, I think, would have gotten more people to watch it, but it also, I think, would have just had more people watch it in general and made the kind of narrative of the film's release, look a little bit better, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I think, and we'll get into it. I don't know if you want to pull up the tweet to verbatim, like, read what he tweeted out, but I think saying that, well, straight people didn't show up, like, I think that's a little too far, in my opinion. Granted, I will say, I feel like it was decently marketed. And like you said, this is the first kind of, gay rom-com that has really been studio's taken a chance, I guess, if you want to call it. And
look at that. Can I throw out a quick tweet here, controversial or not? This is one man's opinion. If we're being frank, number one, rom-coms seldom perform anymore. Correct. We just went over that. Number two, this guy's opinion, Billy Eichner is insufferable to watch. I don't agree with that, but I know a lot of people, that's kind of his style, is you either like him or you don't. And then number three, which I think is very accurate, it's not 2004. Nobody's spending $10+ to watch white men unless they're in a super suit committing war crimes. So there you go. I agree with that. I do think, even if you had, and it kind of goes to star power, but honestly it's two white male leads, one of which I would say 99.8% of the population has no idea who he is. I didn't even know who he was until I saw the movie, and then until I looked him up, and I've never seen anything that he was in ever. I think that's a big part of it too. If you would cast somebody, I don't know, if you would cast somebody like Simu Liu, right? If it was Billy Eichner and Simu Liu in this exact same movie, I think just with the star power, and I also think that it is nice that it would be, not just, a primarily white cast. I think you would see the numbers go up, specifically for the star power, I think, more than anything. I think that just had a lot to do with it. But yeah, I don't know. I can't find the original tweet.
For me, or just real quick on Billy Eichner, I really didn't. I've only known him from Billy in the Street. Like I didn't even know he was in Parks and Rec until like today. Yeah. And I used to like not really find him that funny, but there's like a few clips like here and there, like either the John Oliver clips or like with Chris Evans or Paul Rudd or I think Will Ferrell did one. I do find I have grown. He's grown on me. So I do find him decently funny. But again, like this is definitely a movie I want to check out at least. And you seem to be on like just like from your review, you seem to be in the minority on the movie itself. Because I feel like everybody, almost everybody, is like, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah, that's what yeah, I'll be honest. A lot of people that I've seen that have reviewed it really loved it. I watched Dan Murrell's review. He gave it a glowing review. He thought it was fantastic. And I do think that, like I said, I do think it's pretty funny. I just think a lot of it just didn't work for me. And I just thought it was a real simple, samey kind of rom-com story, honestly. I thought too, not that you have to, because I understand the whole thing is, they want to be, it's showcasing a gay relationship, but also you don't want it to be like stereotypical or toe that line or whatever. Right. But I do think if you're showcasing a gay relationship, I think they could have done more to not just make the jokes of like, there's the famous joke in the trailer that's in all the trailers that's remember straight people, they had a good run. That's a direct quote from the movie. I'm just picking that one just because I remember it well. Rather than humor like that, do humor that, or not even humor, just more elements of the story that actually like emphasizes and shows even more like pride in the fact that it is a gay relationship. Like do something that you could not show or could not be a dynamic in a straight rom-com. You know what I mean? Like I just thought that maybe they didn't take as full advantage of what they could do with the movie. If that makes any sense at all. It is very like off the top of my head disconnected thought, but I guess that's kind of one thing that I thought they could have had improved is if you're getting $20 million to make the first big budget, gay rom-com, I think making it stand out just on its own, I think would have done better. And the fact that I'm coming out of it thinking, I feel like I've seen it before, I feel like does kind of let the premise down a little bit. But that's just me. I know, like you said, I am in the minority on this, which is I'm normally not in the minority on things. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Michelle says in the comments here, Billy Eichner making that state. Well, all right, I'll read that. Let me read the tweet real quick. Okay. It's just a series of, it looks like 4 tweets here. So the main one, last night I snuck in and sat in the back of a sold-out theater playing Bros in LA. The audience howled with laughter start to finish, burst into applause at the end, and were wiping away tears as they walked out. It was truly magical. Really, I am very proud of this movie. Absolutely should be. Rolling Stone already has Bros on the list of best comedies of the 21st century. What's also true is that at one point a theater chain called Universal and said they're pulling the trailer because of the gay content. Universal convinced them not to. America, fuck yeah, etc., etc. That's just the world we live in, unfortunately. Even with the glowing reviews, great Rotten Tomato scores, an A cinema score, etc., straight people, especially in certain parts of the country, just didn't show up for Bros, and that's disappointing, but it is what it is. Everyone who isn't a homophobic weirdo should go see Bros tonight. You will have a blast, and it is special and uniquely powerful to see this particular story on a big screen, especially for queer folks who don't get this opportunity often. I love this movie so much. Go Bros. There's a lot to unpack there. I think first and foremost, I think the thing that's upsetting people on both ends of the spectrum is that there are some LGBT content creators that I watch, or not YouTube but TikTok that I've seen talk about these comments, and it's putting pressure on them to say, almost like, if you didn't go see Bros this weekend, you're not supporting our community. And then it's also putting the blame on, straight people that I know a lot of people that did go see this movie. I went and saw this by myself. My roommate went and saw it with a friend of hers. I know at least 10 people that I work with that have already gone to see it. Granted, those are people that work at a movie theater, but still, you know, I people are definitely going out to see this movie. Not to say that this isn't an issue, because it definitely is an issue. There are, I'll say, if I can say, I had in my workplace somebody, you know, this couple came in. They were an elderly couple. They were looking for a movie to watch. They specifically asked, do we have any rom-coms? And we said, we have Bros. And we said, you know, it's a gay rom-com, basically. And the husband was like, oh, okay, let's get that one. And then the wife literally, like, hit him on the arm and was like, no, honey, he said it's with the gays. It's a gay rom-com. And then they didn't go. That literally happened in front of me. Yeah, like 3 days ago.
So,
and
in a way, like you're saying, like you've seen it firsthand. This does like it exists. Like there's people that are literally seeing it not seeing it for that reason.
100%, and that's where my comparison, when I see this statement, see these tweets, and I'll go to TJ and then chat in a second here. When I see this, my mind immediately goes, and I wonder if you'll agree with me on this, to Elizabeth Banks with Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a reason, but that's not the reason.
The reason, yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of people said that, and that the difference between that movie and this movie is that that movie apparently was not good.
Yes,
which I haven't seen that. I haven't seen either. Obviously, I haven't seen the Charlie's Angels remake or this one. But yeah, like you said, like I think that it's definitely a contributing factor. And for me, like, you know, I don't know about you. Like whenever anybody comes out and says that kind of stuff, I never feel like I'm being attacked or anything. It's just, you know, like I don't know if there are people that feel like that, and if you do, it's really not that, like, they're not calling you out specifically. But I will say, like you said, like that does happen. There's people out there that are literally not going to see this movie because of that reason. And
those people, all she said was, no, honey, he said it's this. We're not going to go see that. And I live in, we said it before, we live in New York. There are worse places, worse interactions, I am sure. I am sure. But, but yeah, like, you continue, sorry.
But yeah, like, I think maybe it would have benefited from a, you know, VOD, like, simultaneous release, I want to say. Granted that, you know, the number for the theater-wise would probably be lower for the box office. But on the same hand, you know, like, it does really suck because, you know, they took this chance, Universal, like, took this chance on this $20 million movie. And obviously it's most likely not going to see the return in its theater run. And, you know, that's gonna push other studios away from doing these types of movies.
Yeah.
Which 100%. Really sucks. But yeah,
look at what happened with Bumblebee.
Yeah. It did pretty good, didn't it? No,
it didn't do good enough to warrant going down that path. That was the point I was saying.
Even though it was a good movie, Bumblebee was good.
No, that's exactly what I mean. Is that Bumblebee, I think by a lot of accounts, not everybody, but by a lot of accounts, was one of the best Transformers movies they ever made. It just I think was a little too late. So they're just going back to the old platform. But yeah. Yeah, but that's, I'll read real quick. Michelle in chat says, Billy Eichner making that statement is so unfair. He is not a big draw. Subject matter, etc. has nothing to do with why I decided not to see it. Billy on the Street isn't a reason to want him in a film. Yeah, I could get that because like I said, also I think by the trailers too, maybe diehard Billy on the Street fans, he really is not playing the Billy on the Street type persona. He is like a podcaster or a radio I think he's a radio host. Like he's super mild mannered in this movie and all that stuff. He's kind of playing against type a little bit in this movie. And that also could have been something that diehard Billy on the Street fans maybe didn't check it out because of that. But yeah, That's kind of our talk on the Bros dilemma that's going on with the box office this weekend. We'll keep an eye on that. Maybe we'll go over box office next weekend. But let's run through a couple of these stories here, and then close out with some House of the Dragon talk.
How about real quick?
Yeah.
I was just about to bring this up that you just pulled up.
Oh, there you go.
The poster for the new Super Mario Brothers movie has been released, with the trailer releasing. I think there's probably going to be its own Nintendo Direct for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes out, I believe it's 105 PT, so 405 Eastern Standard Time.
What day is it?
Tomorrow. What are your opinions on this poster? For me, at least, it looks
like Mario.
very colorful. Looks amazing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I see Mario standing there, and I'm just like, what is he gonna sound like? I don't know about you, but that's all I can think of right now is what is Chris Pratt's take on this character gonna be? Because he doesn't talk. I've never seen. You know what I gotta watch? I gotta watch
like that.
I gotta watch the Super Mario Brothers movie from, what was it, early 2000s, late 90s when that movie came out.
Maybe that should be our first watch along.
Yeah, we might have to do that.
Dennis Hopper.
Yeah. So I definitely want to see that. But yeah, I think if I'm just looking at the poster, I think the poster looks really cool. That's all I'll say. It gives me very much Super Mario Brothers vibes. I'm also interested with the story. Like, is it going to be the classic, like, oh, we got to go rescue Peach after she got taken, or is it going to be, something different?
Yeah, I got the poster up, a 4K of it up right now. Looks fantastic. I do agree with everything that you just said. I think, you look at even some of the, the detail, if I could just, really blow this up here, some of the detail, on the outfit and the clothing and all these different things, there's so much. And I forgot that Illumination was doing this, Despicable Me, some of the Dr. Seuss movies, Minions, obviously, a bunch of stuff. But yeah, like you said, just looks vibrant, looks like the games. Just very interesting. No look at Luigi, unfortunately.
Who's Luigi again?
Charlie Day.
Charlie Day. Okay.
I don't know, Mario.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm excited
What's it
for
gonna
maybe some Easter eggs that are going to be in. I'm assuming they're going to have them like how the Sonic movie does, where they're kind of they're not hitting you over the head with it.
Man, the dream would be to somehow have that Detective Pikachu and Sonic all crossover. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but and the fact that they kind of could, because they all kind of went with that semi-realistic looking animation style where you could kind of fold them in together. They wouldn't look completely crazy next to each other on the big screen, which I think is really cool. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Like you said, I think as cool as the poster looks, it all hinges on that voice. What are we going to hear? What is it going to be? What do you think the chances are that the trailer drops and we don't actually hear him talk? Could you imagine if
Honestly,
they did that?
I wouldn't be shocked. That'd be such a Nintendo thing to do.
What if they just saved it for the movie itself, and they were like, "No, you're gonna buy the tickets before you find out." I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. Also, just real quick, I didn't even realize Werewolf by Night came out this week. It comes out Friday.
Oh God,
I did not realize that.
yeah. So we got Andor tonight, She-Hulk tomorrow night, Werewolf by Night the night after that, a new episode of Rings of Power the night after that, a new episode of House of the Dragons the night after that. Really, right now, Monday and Tuesday is Tuesday. You can always tune in for your beautiful PFNLive. But really, Mondays and Tuesdays are the only days that don't have major releases going on right now. But yeah, let's talk a little bit Werewolf by Night, because I know we had some reports last week coming out saying that it might have been a little bit of a mess. Couple people saying that the internal reviews were not looking too good. But now we have the first batch of embargoes lifting, or I should say social media embargoes, not the review embargo quite yet, lifting, which has given us some insight. So here we have Jacob Fisher saying, in terms of directing, Michael Giacchino brings one of the most unique MCU entries with Werewolf by Night, a successful, strong balance of horror thriller with a sprinkle of levity, and Gael Garcia Bernal is incredible. Also, Man-Thing will easily become a new MCU fan favorite. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's good reviews. I am very excited. Do you know the runtime? Isn't it like, I thought I saw it was like 50 minutes or something.
That's
like,
that's what I've heard, is that it's like 53 minutes. Probably
so
with credits, so
yeah,
probably like
I mean, I guess that would
minutes.
explain how it was done in secret and so quickly. Because, you know, if it was a full-fledged movie, I feel like it would have taken long. Because I just felt like the turnaround, like when it was either leaked or announced, it was like, boom, it's coming out like right now. But I am very excited for it. Can you give me a little, now this is, so I haven't watched the Black Panther trailer. I know you did a reaction to it.
Oh, you want to watch it right now?
I mean, yeah, we can watch it right now.
Let's go for it, man.
It's like,
you gotta ask me
like
twice.
2 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I really loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was very different, but than the first trailer, but still very good.
For like the first trailer for me, I love the first trailer. So
yeah, let's see.
And Black Adam is next week.
Nope.
Right?
Black Adam is 3 weeks. So Halloween is next week. Well, if we want to look at it with streaming included, we got Werewolf by Night this week, Halloween next week, Black Panther the following week. Nothing really on the 28th. Oh, sorry, Amsterdam is also this week.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing really on the 28th.
Yeah.
Nothing really on the 4th. And then on the 11th, we have Armageddon Time with Anne Hathaway and Anthony Hopkins. That's supposed to be a big one. And then that is Black Panther as well.
I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll get everything set up here for the trailer reaction. But guys, if you guys have checked out the trailer, what did you guys think of the trailer? Were you able to check out my trailer reaction? We'll have a second trailer reaction up now with TJ's thoughts. I really enjoyed it. I guess I can talk about it openly because he's not here. I really loved this trailer. I thought that it did a great job of, yes, paying respect and celebrating Chadwick Boseman, but also I think this trailer did a really good job at the more difficult challenge, which is, we know this movie is going to pay respect and honor Chadwick Boseman. We know that, obviously, but how is it going to then move on? How is it going to build this Black Panther franchise into the future without Chadwick? I think that's just as important as how is it going to honor Chadwick Boseman is how is it going to honor him by letting this franchise continue? And I think that that's a really interesting thing that I think this trailer gives us a good look at, and something that I'm really interested to see how it comes across in the final movie. But guys, if you are just joining us, let us know what did you think of the brand new Black Panther trailer, Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer number 2 this is. But yeah, we're about to do a trailer reaction. TJ has not seen the trailer at all. Let's take a look here at some of these posters for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which I think are pretty fantastic. Here we have the official 4DX poster. All right, Michelle says in chat, I think doing that first trailer in a somber way and then now being able to have this one with more energy and delving into changes in his family and Wakanda after he's gone is great. Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I think, like I said, I think this movie has 2 very important jobs, which is to pay respect and pay respect and pay homage to Chadwick Boseman, but also build the franchise back up in his absence and kind of figure out what that's going to mean. What that's going to mean for all the people involved and what that's going to mean for the characters. But yeah, we got this 4DX poster here, which I think is really cool. It's probably my second favorite of all the different posters that were released today. We got a good look at all the people in here. You got M'Baku, obviously, Ramonda, Okoye, Nakia, Shuri, Namor, of course, right there, and then the new Black Panther, who we now pretty much can confidently know is Shuri. We also got this one. This is the IMAX poster. I think this one's pretty cool as well. I really like the, kind of pattern styling and everything. Some Wakandan patterns, it looks like, as well as some, I believe it's Takonta, or Takonta, which is the nation that Namor's from in this movie, because, of course, in the comics, Namor is from Atlantis, which has been changed for this. But they did say that Namor will definitely be a mutant in this movie and in the MCU, so I think that is very exciting as well. But yeah, we got, look at this. So we got a couple different things to look at. We got some exclusive images here from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So we have a look here at Angela Bassett as Queen Ramonda. This is from Entertainment Weekly. As I said, here we have a look at Shuri and Denai Guerrera's Okoye here. Very interesting. I wonder if this is maybe something to do with Riri Williams' Ironheart character. Seeing as though it looks like this is probably in America. I know that we're going to get some scenes at both MIT and in Chicago in this movie, kind of setting up Ironheart. But yeah, I'm very excited for Black Panther 2. I think it's really coming along great in terms of, kind of the reveals, how the information is being delved out and everything. Yeah, look at look at these images here of Ironheart. Really, really like these. You see she's tinkering with stuff, kind of in a very Tony Stark way. Got the heads-up display, kind of very similar to Iron Man's tech that we've seen, very similar again to Iron Man's tech. Looks a little bit more, put together than maybe the other suit. I'm thinking maybe this will be the final version in this movie. Maybe this will be her final suit. And then it looks like we have her again up here in kind of a bigger suit. So I think it's interesting. I think it'll be very interesting. Just one second. But yeah, what are you guys? Who would you say you're most excited to see introduced in the MCU with this movie? Would you say Namor or Ironheart? What do you think is going to be kind of either the bigger reveal or what you're more looking forward to? For me, I would say probably Ironheart. I think probably Ironheart is who I'm more excited to see. Not to say that I'm not excited to see Namor. I am extremely excited to see Namor. But Ironheart, I think, is going to be very, very interesting of kind of how she is fully set up in this movie, how she kind of fits into the larger MCU, or not even how she fits in a larger MCU in general, but kind of how, if she's already established in the wider MCU, or I know in the trailer we've seen her talking with Shuri and everything, so maybe she's going to be talking to her. I think it's interesting. But yeah, so we're going to take a look at the trailer once TJ comes back. Not sure where he is right now, but for you guys watching right now, what are some of the things that you guys have been watching? I know Shark Tank came back. I've been watching a lot of Shark Tank recently as well. I've been liking this season so far. I think that's really, really good. But yeah, about The Patient. Should I dive back into The Patient? I don't know. I do not know. Let's see. How many episodes are out of The Patient right now? I think maybe it's 4. OMG, that live Shark Tank was loud? What do you mean by loud? I will say the live Shark Tank thing they did, I thought was interesting. Did I finish Dahmer? No, I did not finish Dahmer. I have watched at it because my roommate is finishing Dahmer. She has an episode or two left, I believe. But I have been, watching in the background. I have been present while she is watching it, but I have not been watching it myself. I just don't think it's for me. I really feel like it's a little much. I don't want to use the word gratuitous, but I just feel like it is really in its lane, and I really just don't kind of vibe with it, to be honest. I really just don't think it's for me. Yeah. Let's see. And then what was the other thing? Oh yeah, the live Shark Tank. So the live Shark Tank I thought was very good, except for the live studio audience. I thought that was probably a poor decision. I think that it really took away from, not that Shark Tank is like this very serious show, but it felt a little more like a game show, I guess, with the live studio audience there. And the sharks were kind of like throwing to the audience, like they were kind of like, "What do you guys think?" And that just really, I think that was kind of, I could have done without that. But that being said, I think that other than the studio audience part of it, I think that they put the show together really well. I think they kept the pitches short. I think there was only like 3. Normally in an episode of Shark Tank, there's like 4 or 5. But I think it was only like 3 because, they had to do it live. And I did feel like it was a little bit rushed because they've talked about before that, some of these episodes, some of these pitches can be, a few hours long. They've said before that there's going to be some pitches that take like, 3 to 4 hours, which is absolutely crazy. But when you're doing it live, you're going to only have, 10, 15 minutes per thing, if that. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. But Michelle said, didn't expect Shark Tank to also have a studio audience and the sharks talked over each other too much. I enjoyed it, but glad it was a one-off. Yeah, I agree. We were just talking.
Oh, they did Shark Tank Live?
Yeah, they did the first ever Shark Tank Live, which, I thought it was okay, but they did a weird thing where they had a live studio audience for it, and I said it made it feel more like a game show than like an actual like kind of serious thing. Not to say that Shark Tank isn't obviously reality television. It is. Mm-hmm. But I think even there's a difference between the reality television of it, and it really did truly more feel like a game show for that live one.
Interesting. Yeah.
Now let's do this trailer reaction because my voice is shot. Sorry. All right. You're okay. Okay. So we're going to do a quick video intro just so you guys know watching the live show. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
I'm your other host, TJ Cornwell, and today we're going to be reacting to the new Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer.
All right, let's just jump right into this thing. Now, I have seen this before, but TJ has not. Can you hear it?
Yeah. Turn it up a little bit more. That's good.
Yeah. It's pretty quiet.
Only the most broken people.
I think Namor sounds fantastic.
Can be great leaders.
I love that throne.
Yeah, that looks dope. What is on this little big ship?
Did not call him General
I don't know.
or King. They called him Kukul Khan, the feather serpent god.
Look at that. He got his little ankle wings.
the surface world.
We know what you whisper. They have lost their protector.
This movie looks so good.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that! I know.
That's the first look at Ironheart, correct?
Yeah.
Show them who we are.
Wow.
Oh, look at this. Boom.
Wow. See, and now I think I'm in agreement with some people that I've heard that they wish they would have kept that for the movie. Me personally, again, I like those kind of surprises that don't make it into the trailers, but I guess that maybe it's part of the marketing, probably. That's why you put that in there.
Yeah, and I'm sure with toys and stuff too, it's probably at a certain point hard to, keep it under wraps.
Yeah, but no, I thought that looked awesome. I'm very excited for this movie. The first trailer definitely got me the most excited. Like, I got chills watching that thing, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, so guys, that's TJ's thoughts on the trailer. If you want to, you can go check out my more detailed thoughts in my trailer reaction that I did the other day. But thank you for joining us for this one. All right, so let's see. Michelle said, I would have liked to see, I would have liked to have the suit as a surprise in the film, but I get it. Yeah, I do. I think, like we said, it's just one of those things that, kind of have to show some things in the trailer that are just kind of too big to avoid. You always got to remember, if they're showing you stuff in the trailer, imagine what they're not showing you. So that's always a part of it too. But yeah, so Black Panther looks fantastic. Let's talk about something else that is fantastic to close out this show. Like we said, it is going to be a shorter show here, so we're going to wrap up with talking episode 7 of House of the Dragon, titled Driftmark. So, we are going to give our review of episode 7 of House of the Dragon, titled Driftmark. TJ, I'll throw it to you, man. What did you think?
Good. Another solid, good episode. I think something I will say, Aegon, I forget his name. Not Aegon. Aemon.
Yeah.
Terrible person. Hate him.
This episode had me going, what an asshole. Oh, this guy's kind, you know what? Good for this guy. And then, oh my God, what a fucking asshole.
Exactly.
Literally, it was just like a 10-minute roller. It was literally a 10-minute roller coaster, which was cool to watch, but emotionally too with that guy.
Right. I thought some great performances in this episode. A lot of, kind of things happening that as a book reader or a non-book reader, I kind of saw coming a little bit.
Like what?
Also from like kind of the end trailer from the last episode where it shows like a sneak peek at the next one.
Oh, yeah.
But overall, another really solid episode. And like I said, can't stand Aemon. He sucks.
Even more than Aegon? Or they both suck?
The way I do it is the Targaryens of Alicent suck. And the Valerians from Rhaenyra, they're okay. They're cool. Except for the two girls. They don't cause any trouble. The two boys, they kind of do. So,
Yeah.
But I'm still more Team Rhaenyra, I'd say. I don't think I think if you're Team Alicent, I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to be Team Alicent, wouldn't you think? But we'll get into that. But overall, I thought a good episode, great episode.
Yeah, I 100%. I think it's I would hard is one word for it. I think if you're Team Green, if you're on Team Hightower, I think you might have a few screws loose, especially after this episode. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was just an absolutely fantastic episode. Really, House of the Dragons now officially really feels like Game of Thrones because it has its pitch black, I can't see anything episode.
Which I don't know about you, and I saw somebody on TikTok that was like making a joke, like, "Oh, I can't see I can't see what's going on." And
Yeah.
the one comment was like, "Y'all need to invest in some good like HDR TVs." And
Mm-hmm.
that might be the only reason I was able to see what was going on, is because I have a decent TV, I guess. Because I mean, it wasn't like pitch black or anything for me. Like it was light enough where I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if it's just because I'm watching it on a better TV than I watched the Long Night episode, but I really honestly didn't have too much of a problem seeing it.
Right.
I do think that it was very dark. I think it was unnecessarily dark. We know from, set pictures and stuff, this was some of the first stuff they ever filmed for this show, and that it was filmed during the day, so it was shot day for night, basically. And I don't know why they did that. I wonder if maybe it was just some sort of production need or something like that. But for me, I do think, even though I could see it, I do think it was distracting. Because it just felt kind of unnecessary to me. I was like, why is it like this? It does not need to be like this. That was kind of my thought on it over and over again. But that being said, I didn't really have an issue seeing it. But just talking about the actual episode here, too, I really loved it. I thought that really this show has done so many great things about, not even having dialogue, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think that the first 10 minutes of this episode, it might even be more than 10 minutes, but the first 10 minutes of this episode, I thought were absolutely fantastic in the fact that, it basically didn't even need to have any sort of dialogue. We just saw all these different people, all the looks and interactions at, again, spoiler alert, at Lena's funeral, which really was kind of the centerpiece, the focal point of this episode, which I thought was great. And then, you have great moments with Viserys, again, still hanging in there. My guy's still hanging on. Reaching out to Daemon, saying, listen, come back to King's Landing with me. Again, with these brothers, it's just the more time passes, everything is forgiven. It's not one of these relationships that I think they're ever going to have a full break of, like, we're never going to speak to each other ever again.
Right.
Every time they fight, every time Daemon gets himself banished, they always, come back together. Viserys is always ready to, re-embrace his brother and bring him back, into court, into the fold, all that stuff. And I really, really liked that in this episode. And I like that Daemon, has that kind of great moment with Matt Smith playing it where he says, like, I need nothing. Like, he was like almost having like a super emotional reaction, which is not something that Daemon normally has, because I think that Viserys really is just genuinely trying to reach out to his brother, and I think that Daemon doesn't respond well to that kind of genuine emotion.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then obviously we had so much happen in this episode. Then Daemon and Rhaenyra, basically, the three big things were Daemon and Rhaenyra finally, fully hooking up, deciding to get married. Then Aemon claiming Vhagar as his own dragon, which I thought was an incredible sequence. I thought that was really awesome, and really well done as well. And then obviously the fight, kind of just the absolute tense stalemate that kind of happens with Alicent and Rhaenyra. with Viserys just kind of finally losing it on everybody. Another great moment in this episode, early on when Viserys goes to leave the funeral and he calls Alicent Emma. Did you notice that he called
No,
her?
I didn't.
Yeah, he said he called her Emma as he was leaving instead of Alicent, which I thought was just like incredible and shows that, you know, his physical body is deteriorating and now his, you know, mental state is starting to deteriorate as well, which kind of leads into some things that we see for the upcoming for next week. But out of kind of those three main things, because we are going to keep it shorter here, what did you kind of think of those? Give me your thoughts on kind of the altercation, Aemon with the dragon, and then, you know, inevitably Daemon and Rhaenyra finally getting together, tying the knot.
Yeah, so the Aemon thing, just to start off first, I was like, oh, okay, like he's finding a dragon. Obviously, it looks at first like he may be burnt to death, but he was able to tame it and flies on it and everything. And then he just kind of comes in and just is being really not cool.
Yeah, it's like it literally just changed him.
Yeah, and talking about how these two kids are bastards and, you know, just going at the four of them. And I hate to say he, like, deserved it.
He did.
Because he did, but, like, I don't know what it is about these Hightower kids. They're just not cool. They all suck. And him, like, losing his eye, I thought it was deserved. I'm gonna say it. Thought it was deserved. You know, cry me a river. I really, you know, you got your dragon. Now you're just this, you know, this asshole, and you don't need to be. As far as Rhaenyra and Daemon getting together, I think that was kind of one that we kind of figured was probably gonna come back around at some point. I don't know if I'm a fan, and I know this is all kind of leading up to, you know, the meat of the story. Like we're kind of fast tracking through season 1, time jumping to get to the big picture. But I don't know if I was a fan of the way we went about getting them to get married. I felt like that was very quick. And I would have liked maybe another episode or so in between. Although I will say, so they got me because I thought that what's his name? Where is his name? Rhaenyra's husband.
Oh, Laenor?
Laenor, yeah, Sir Laenor.
Yeah.
I thought he was dead. And then he pops up with his head shaved at the end. I was like, oh, I guess he's not.
So in the book, because Fire and Blood is just like kind of a fake history, so it's not like a narrative. So in the book, they say that he is dead. Like this is a new thing for the show, is that he really and again, I actually didn't watch the behind the scenes yet of this week's, but I'm sure they're gonna say, you know, in the book it just says, you know, Laenor, you know, perished and you know, was killed, and then his body was burned in the fire and everything. But we saw that and we were like, well, what if we could give this one character a happy ending type thing? You know, I'm guessing that's probably what they did. I don't think that it's going to be this big thing that he's going to return one day and change the tide.
I think he's just...
I think that they just saw an opportunity to give him a happier ending and gave it to him.
Yeah, so can you just walk real quick, just so I understand what happened? So they're talking about this on the balcony, and it's kind of cutting back to show what's actually happening.
Yeah.
So Daemon goes in, kills is it just a random guard?
Yeah.
Kills a random guard, sends the dude that he was talking to at the shipyard. He sends him convinces him. This is a random guy, right? We haven't seen this guy before.
No, we have. That's his Laenor's
partner, right?
Partner. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay, so he convinces him to so they fake fight, and then they burn this body that Daemon already killed, and then they escape together. Correct? Is that how that works?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the idea there is that to us as the viewer and to a book reader, you're following all these steps because this is what they say happens in the book, is that, Rhaenyra organized, to have him killed basically so that she could wed Daemon and everything. And so that's how we're led to believe. But I think the idea is that they were all in on it. Like, they weren't, like, Daemon and Rhaenyra weren't actually, like, go kill this guy. I think it was, more make it look like, a quick death or something like that, so that they could get away. Because, Rhaenyra is definitely, at least the Rhaenyra that they've set up in this show so far, I don't think is, like she even says of Alicent in this episode, I don't think Alicent is capable of cold murder. And I don't think I definitely. Well, no, I think that she definitely is now.
Right.
But I definitely don't think that Rhaenyra is capable of just straight up, cold-blooded murder, especially of Laenor, who has been, maybe a little detached, but nothing but caring and kind to her. So I think it's nice that they kind of, figured everything out to get her out of there.
So touching on the whole confrontation of however long that was. I thought it was interesting, like, Alicent, she's coming at Rhaenyra with the knife or the dagger or whatever. And I think she says at one point that, like, finally they see who you really are. And no, they see who you really are. Like, I don't I think she understands that it's from the beginning. She's just her dad's pawn. That's really what she is. This entire time. And I don't understand the, like, how do you take that and then why don't you turn on your father? By the way, did we see Otto just become the Hand at any point? Because he's now the Hand again.
No, it's just another thing that I think happened in the time jump. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not even the time jump though, because the funeral would have been like a day later.
I just mean the time jump. Well, you got to remember she died in Pentos, so I gave it the benefit of the doubt of it's probably been like a week.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, when I said time jump, I guess in the context of this show, I should be more specific.
Yeah.
Just the time between episodes.
Right. But again, like, going to Viserys, I just kind of feel bad for him. Like, he's in such denial, and, Alicent says, like, it's not Alicent, it's
Aegon, right?
Aegon. Aegon's like,
just look at them.
Just look at everybody. They know. And he's, like, still denying it. By the way, who started that rumor? Because Aaron first looks at, Aemon.
Well, I don't think it is a rumor, but.
Well, obviously. But Aemon looks at Daemon, or at Alicent.
In terms of putting it in the kids' heads, definitely Alicent.
Yeah. Okay. Did we see that? I don't remember that.
Well, I mean, I mean, not that it, she just talks about it all the time.
I don't need it, right? I don't need it to be shown to me. I'm just saying, like.
Yeah, I think it's just that she talks about it all the time.
Right.
It's like all she can think about.
Yeah, and so that really, like, that's what gets me most about Alicent, is that she is very, like, she is going after Rhaenyra, and she's obviously with Viserys, and she wants her kids to kind of be next in line and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, you see, right, like, from the beginning, you were put in this position by your dad in order for you to gain power in this household, as well as, prop him up as well. Like, you're the chess piece that's just being moved around by other people.
Yeah. And I think that's really why she really snaps in this episode is, like, what she says to Rhaenyra is, this is everything previous. You don't care about, the rules of the law. You disgraced Kristen Cole. You did all these things. Your children are bastards. You can't even do your duty to your husband and your family to have proper children. And then really, all of this, Rhaenyra is so bad because she can't even respect, the crown and her family and her duties. But in this episode, really the truth comes out, which is, it's not that she cares that Rhaenyra doesn't respect those things. It's that that's not the life that Alicent got. Alicent did get the life of being a pawn, being locked in a castle to pump out heirs, just basically having this life of service, and that's why she's pissed.
I think that's something too that you could see, like, just between those two characters, is where Alicent is kind of that what women in this world are expected to be, and then Rhaenyra is like the complete opposite, and she's trying to blaze like her own trail, kind of like Daenerys. Again, that little connection right there. Obviously, they're both Targaryens, but do you feel that Larys has some sort of, is he just loyal, or do you think he has some sort of like feelings for Alicent? That's kind of it, because at one point, I forget who comes up and says it, but they're at the party and they're like, Larys doesn't stop staring at you.
Oh, it's Kristen Cole,
Yeah,
I think I think it's Kristen. Is when he says, like, he hasn't stopped looking at, and Alicent kind of dismisses it like, well, he's the new Lord of Harrenhal. It's it's a look of admiration and respect or whatever, and it's like, okay, but I definitely think it strikes me as a little more. He's been compared a lot to like Littlefinger, but I think you or somebody said like that actually he strikes a little bit more like Ramsay, more than Littlefinger. But I do think he has that Littlefinger kind of relationship like he did with Sansa with Alicent, of like, this woman is powerful and whatever, and I am falling in love with her, and kind of an obsession, like an unhealthy relationship with her and everything, that I don't think is going to be reciprocated anytime soon, buddy. But
I don't think so,
yeah, but, and she even says to him, and oh my God, the crazy moment with Alicent being like, she was just so steadfast in, she took one of my kids' eyes, Sir Kristen, go give me, she says, bring me the eye of Lucerys Valerian. And it's like, oh my God. And I gotta give props where props are due. Our guy Kristen, who has fallen to the dark side, said, homie, I'll protect you. I'm not, I don't slash kids' eyes on when people tell me to. You know what I mean? I'm a king's guard, not your like sword. So I thought that at least was nice, that he wasn't just like, yep, as it is, or as you wish. Like, Meryn Trant, Joffrey's favorite Kingsguard, like he would have done that, no question. He would have been like, you want both of the eyes or just one? So at least Kristen Cole had that, but that was an absolutely insane moment. But yeah, I mean, absolutely great, fantastic episode. Such rich character development, character growth with everybody. All these scenes are just so tense, and you look at a scene like that by the fireplace, where everybody's kind of standing off with each other. There's over a dozen characters in that room. I know all their names. I know all their motivations. I know all of their wants and desires. I know what put them in that room. Like, it's just so much stuff, and you look at the fact that we're only 7 episodes in, and you understand all this stuff about all these different characters, and you know that it's just gonna keep getting better from here. The characters are just gonna keep growing.
One thing I will say, you gotta feel for the Valerians. I mean, losing their daughter and then thinking they lost their son. I'm assuming he probably doesn't come back at any point.
That's what I'm gonna guess.
I mean, maybe he does. But that is nice that they kind of got their happy ending. So I do wonder if we go back to them every so often. Do you think he just shaved his head just for hiding purposes? Yeah,
I think so. I think the idea is they're probably off to live in Essos together in some far off area, and probably the idea is shave my head so that on the journey over there I'm not recognizable, and then once we set up our new lives, like, who gives a shit, you know what I mean? But because I think if you're have that Targaryen or Valerian white hair, I think you're gonna be pretty easy to spot. But yeah, I think it was a very, very great episode. Anything else you want to touch on before we head out?
You think Do you think when do you think Viserys like
Bites it.
accepts the truth?
Oh,
Do you think he
accepts
ever
the truth?
does?
I don't think he'll
Yeah.
I don't think he ever will. No, I don't think he ever will.
Yes.
I think that he has such a soft spot for Rhaenyra. And it's not only about his soft spot for Rhaenyra, but it's also, if he admits it, that's the end. That's the end of his entire, it's like what he said last week. Do you know what it would mean with the accusation that you bring forward? Do you even understand what that would mean in reality for everybody? That would mean that, Harwin is dead, and Laenor's dead, actually. But, Rhaenyra, Lucerys, Jacaerys, and Joffrey all would be put to the sword, if this was the truth. So I think he's going to take it to his grave.
Very interesting that she's had kids with somebody she's not married to or been unfaithful, but when she marries her uncle, it's fine. I mean, I granted, with him, it won't be fine. I think he'll definitely have a problem with it. Although, did he just have a problem with it before because she was young?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I think it could go either way because she is so much older now, and because they, in as best a way as possible, they did it in the right way. You know what I mean? Like, I guess, like I said, in as best as they could have. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of how the fallout of Laenor's death, because we see the immediate thing of, Rhaenys and Corlys just absolutely losing it. But how are they going to actually kind of settle with everything that's happened will be interesting to see. But yeah, guys, that'll do it for our review of House of the Dragon, episode 7, Driftmark. Let us know, what did you guys think of the episode? Let us know in the comments down below. So thank you guys so much for joining us for that review. All right, and thank you guys for joining us for PFNLive tonight. We talked about a lot of stuff. We did have a little bit of a shorter show, but we did talk about a lot of stuff that we wanted to cover. Talked about Bros, talked about House of the Dragon for sure. A couple of other things along the way. Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer. Looks fantastic. But guys, thank you guys for joining us. As always, I have been one of your hosts, Sean Monk. Last thing for me will be, make sure to go ahead and follow us at the official PFN over on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, where we are posting all the time on all those platforms. TJ?
I've been your host, TJ Cornwell. Thank you for watching. Like Sean said, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms and catch us back every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here for PFN Live.